All right, guys, I'm gonna show you how I do these side-by-side windshields. So I already got the film on there. We're doing 35 full windshield. I already got the film on. I already got it cut. I got it shrank. I got this prepped. Steel wool scrub pad as usual. And we're just gonna go ahead and squeegee this off. Get any like dirt and dust and stuff to run down the windshield. Got my towel over here. This is probably gonna be one of the easiest windshields to do, simply because it does not have the wiper arm on it. I guess the wiper assembly is on back order, at least for this model, which is good for us because it's one less thing we have to cut around. It's one less thing we have to kind of fight. I obviously got my towel down over the dash. I don't think you'd run into any kind of electrical issues with these because they are made to be you know, off-roaded and stuff. But the tricky thing about doing these windshields is you do not have really any room for error. Your cuts have to be on, you know, on point. Get a little crazy with the water there, no big deal. I'm gonna go ahead and mist the outside. Hop up here on this tire. You see you gotta cut out around all this stuff, the hood struts, and we tore our liner, so that's never good. Good thing we caught it. Could have been a bad deal. Now if we can lift it without tearing it further, there we go. We might be all right. I don't know if I just said it or not. This is a full tip out windshield. It's on struts, so it'll go all the way up, which is pretty cool. We're not gonna take advantage of that function. I don't think it's gonna help us out any. But something to know and to note, because some of them only tip out a little bit, some of them do not. There's at least 3 different designs that I know of from the various ones of these that I've tinted, and water is running down off this fender and into my shoe, so that's cool. See if we can get by without tearing that side. All right. Now this is pretty much like any other full windshield, honestly. Just other than the fact that it's a really weird cut, really weird design. Try to get half of it on here. You guys that are, you know, been subscribers and followers for a long time, you watch all the videos, you'll know I normally just lay the window, or lay the pattern out on the window when I reverse roll. I'm trying to get better. This is one that I should be able to roll out onto the glass, no big deal, but we'll see. Kind of tricky because of this little cut right here, but let's see if we can't do this. Get that started, at least pretty close. Now these side-by-sides, especially if they're used, you kind of have to, I guess, accept a little more contamination than maybe what you normally would, because let's face it, if they're used. They've probably been out in the mud and dirt and all that stuff, and there's just really not a whole lot of room for these, for the dust and stuff to go. You know, there's really no room or, you know, area for the dirt and dust to be flushed out to and all that stuff, but looks like we made this one work. Looks like we're covered all the way around, all of our gaps, even up here. It's really tough up here to cut because of these little visor things on the outside, so hand cut's kind of iffy, but you can get it done. Like I said, this will probably be one of the easiest ones, simply just because it doesn't have the wiper arm assembly right here and doesn't have this pop out is a little bit different than some of them. Some of them have like a big bulky plastic piece there that kind of gets in the way and you got to kind of loosen it up, but it is pretty nice that it's a full tip out, because then we don't have to worry about, I'll show you here in a second, but the dash, the instrument cluster, if it's the kind that just pops out a little bit, you don't have a whole lot of room to drop your film in behind there, so it's really easy to remove. Thankfully, it's like 2 Torx bits. I think they're like T30s or something like that, or two tabs, little plastic tabs. I can't remember. There's something over here that needs to come out, and then the actual gauge cluster itself is like just 2 simple little tabs, plastic retaining clips. Some people get really intimidated by these. I've seen people asking in the comments and Facebook groups and stuff, like how much to charge for them, how to do them, you know, what's the best way, are they easy? These things are pretty simple to do, honestly. I wouldn't mind tinting them every day. Look at that, we got it. No fingers. We'll go ahead and just kind of give it a quick miss and just do a nice hard pass here. I like to do probably about, I don't know, 50-60% overlap, just to make sure we get as much moisture out as we can. On these, I like to do the windows last, the roll-up windows. I like to get the windshield done. I like to do the back glass first, and then if we're doing a windshield, I like to do the windshield second, and then do the roll-ups. The back glass you want to do first if you haven't seen my videos on that, because you have to take the hardware apart. You got to take the hardware off the glass, take the window apart basically, and you need plenty of time for that to dry, so that you can put it back together without damaging your freshly tinted window, because it can mess up the tint if you put too much pressure when you're putting the hardware back on. Looks like we might have something trying to pop up right here. Let's go ahead and suck up this moisture. Just wipe this down, double check. That's on the outside, looks like we're good. So it might have just been trying to suck up some moisture. So you can see the bar soap on the outside, or your dry shrink prep. So here's one thing. Let me grab a light. So one thing you gotta watch out for on these, I don't know if you can see, but this right here is trying to come up because it's touching just a tiny amount of silicone that's squeezed out. And then same deal up here, but we didn't hit it. So that's something you got to be aware of too. Right down here, some silicone. These things sometimes, you know, they're like anything else. Some of them are really well done, and some of them they got a little more squeeze out than you'd like. But no big deal. We're just going to cut around that chunk of silicone. Cut that little tiny bit out. Where do we go here? and then just push that out. Should stay. Everything looks good. Take our steel wool. Love this light. Comes in super handy, you know, if you want to do one of these, something like that. So that way you don't have to worry about hanging it from a hook or something like that. The magnetic base is really, really handy. So I'm not going to bore you guys too much. That's how I do these. You all know, clean off your window and should be good to go. Let's just go ahead and do it so we can see what it looks like. A lot of times I won't even do this yet, simply because when I do my roll-ups, I will also have overspray to clean up. So I'll go ahead and do it just once. Saves a little bit of time, but I'll make time for you guys, my loyal fans and followers. So there we go. You know, dot matrix obviously is going to be a little inconsistent, as they usually always are. This right here, I don't know if you caught it, but it's just some kind of bug guts. We just took care of that. Right here we can see we got it coming off the edge a little bit. So we're probably touching some silicone over there as well. One of the first things I recommend you do when you're doing these is unhook these little guys, because they can be pretty annoying. Yep, check it out here. Right there, we're touching some silicone just slightly, so it's pushing our film back. So that's something we would have noticed here when we cleaned the glass at the end anyway, and it would have laid down just fine, but we'll go ahead, and we don't have a ton of room. Right there, I don't even have to squeegee it, it just laid right back down, just like we want it to. So we'll just go ahead and just give it a little more encouragement. I saw a couple little moisture bubbles down here. Now's a great time to hit them. And nope, that's on the outside. Probably more bug guts. I didn't pay attention to how many miles this thing had when it came in, but, or hours, or however you want to look at it. But there you guys go. Obviously clean your glass. Like I just said, I clean my glass usually twice. Like I'll do it once at the very end, like a final deal, but generally when I make these videos, I do try to show you the finished product. There you guys go. She's tinted. Got some fuzzies. 35 doesn't really look too dark, but once we put the back glass back in, it's got 5%. These sides are gonna have 15 on them. So they'll end up, or I mean 20, so they'll end up being around 15 with the factory UV coating. But man, other than that, pretty simple. You can move your towel. I'm just gonna leave it sit for a while because I don't need to really do anything with it. But I'll show you real quick. Yeah, the dash comes out with these two pins, these two tabs. That's what I was thinking of. The windshield holder, I don't know, whatever you want to call it, it comes apart with the Torx. But we can just lock that down like so. And interestingly enough, there's still a big air gap, so I don't think this is set up. There we go. There we go. That was my fault. That was my fault. I messed that up. But anyway, there you guys go for the 19th freaking time. Thanks for watching. Hopefully this helps you out on how to do these. They're really not hard. You can definitely charge extra for them because you're gonna have to do some, you know, taking stuff apart and, you know, all that stuff. They do take a little more time, simply because, like I said, you got to take the back glass apart if you want to do it right. You got to mess around with doing this where you have next to no margin for error. But we'll see you on the next one. Thanks for watching.